Okay, hello Björn. How is it going for you at the moment?
Hello, man. Well, I'm in beautiful Helsinki, so what can I say? You know, we love Finland, and I love Finland, and I think it's a great culture here, and the sun is shining, and we're gonna play Tavastia. So what can I say? It's good. It's been a while. We played last time in Finland, I think last summer on a festival in Oulu.
Yeah, Varjot Festival was the festival.
It was, yeah. So that was, quite a time ago. So I'm really looking forward. I think the Finnish crowd are like the Swedish, but better,
Okay, so you tend to like Finnish crowds.
They tend to like rock music. So I'm really happy to be here.
So how does it feel to be a Swede in Finland now after beating us first in Eurovision and then beating us in ice hockey?
I think, I think Finland is a stronger hockey nation these days than Sweden. I mean, you just look at the Stanley Cup. You have a lot of players in the winning teams there, and they reach the semifinals. You have Aho and Tero and lots of players like that, and Rantanen in your own team. And I think these players are going to wake up, and I think they're going to win the World Cup. For sure.
I hope so.
I think so.
They are actually making jokes about NHL at the moment because there's one team that doesn't have any Finnish players, and normally what happens is that team's gonna win the whole thing.
Is it Vegas? Or?
Yeah, I think it was Vegas who didn't have any players. So that's the one who I would bet my money for.
Yeah, sure.
So, as you already mentioned, you will have a record release show today.
Yeah.
So, do you plan on playing a lot of new stuff live?
Today, yeah. I think we're gonna play at least 5 or 6 from the new album Boblikov, Magical World, and then of course some oldies. If I go to a Stones concert, I want to hear. I can get no satisfaction as well. So we don't want to disappoint people, but still we want to make it really interesting for us. So a combination is always the best, and we love making new music. So I think that's what we're gonna focus on the rest of our life.
So as you already mentioned, you released like few weeks ago Boblikov's Magical World. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry.
And overall, what kind of experience it was for you to make the album?
I think the whole, we call it the Corona period, because the Corona period for us started in 2020, like for everybody else, of course. But for us, it was, we were quite lucky. Some people were suffering a lot from this, but for us, it was quite good. We came from a long, period of touring. We had done 3 years of touring when Corona struck the world, And I remember the last tour we said, well, we really need a break to get into the studio and be creative for quite a while, and this is what happened, because of Corona. Otherwise we would just continue touring, we're a band like that. We never stopped touring, and so it was good for us. We started with making the last Swedish album in Swedish. We did. It was a poem from Karin Boye and Gustaf Fröding, and it was an album called I solnedgången. We did that early 2020, and then Corona came, but we released the album anyway. And mid 2020 we did an album, an Americana album. We haven't released that yet. It's in the closet so far.
Okay.
But it's quite cool. Let's see if we release it. It's not a rock and roll album. It's more Americana country style.
Okay.
And then we didn't have any songs left, So early 2021, we went into the studio with this album, and we didn't have any songs. We didn't have any plans. We didn't have anything. We just went to the studio because we were really bored by being at home, and so we wanted to be creative. And the thing was, I think we made the album in 2 weeks, both the writing and the recording.
Whoa, that's fast.
It was fast, but that's the way we work. We always record live, and so then it's quick. If you do it the Elvis way, you record everything live, and we're definitely a band like that. And so we wrote the song during daytime and recorded in the nighttime in the studio, and it was quite a cool process.
Okay.
So that afterwards we came up with the concept for Boblikov's Magical World and all that, and he's like an. We thought of an alter ego which would be like he's like Trump or Putin, but he regrets everything bad that he's done, and now he started a mini rock and roll circus. So that's Boblikov, and yeah.
So did it take a long time to figure out the sort of idea behind the album? And do you consider this as a concept album, or are there still separate songs?
I think the songs are separate from each other, but we never done an album. It's a concept. The way it was done was a concept, but I think the afterward thing is more like that's more for the visuals.
So was it sort of easy in that time when you have put out an album and didn't basically promote it like in a way that you most likely would have wanted to? Was it easy to get into the mode that we will write a new album, or was it difficult to get into that space?
It's always very easy to get in the mood for us, and the days that are not easy, we just go for fishing or something instead, because if you're not in the zone, then you can't force it. And I think music is not about forcing; it's about enjoying, and it's about being. It's supposed to be simple. I mean, it's not simple, but it's supposed to be simple, The vibe should be very simple, and if the vibe is not there, but it was there, Most of the time we tour a lot, but otherwise we live in different parts of Sweden, so we don't see each other that often. And when we see each other, it's always a blast, So I think it was, it's not hard for us to find it.
I've always sort of felt that your band is sort of like a free spirit, that you kind of do whatever you want to do. So how important is that actually for you?
I think, I mean, if you look on, for instance, Spotify, I mean, our genre is not big on Spotify. It's one of the smallest genres on Spotify. But if we would about to care about that, we would sound like Sara Larsson. And nothing wrong with her, but I don't want to sound like Sara Larsson because I can't, And so we always, the first album we released was our demos, and that all the record companies in Sweden were just, fighting about us. But it was the trend with the Strokes and the Hives and us, that came in that period, and we didn't have a clue that all of a sudden our music was trendy. But we had 6 years before that when nobody was listening to us, so. It's very hard to follow trends, so there's no point. We just follow the heart, and where the songwriting takes us is where we're gonna make the music. So we never know. It was the same with the Infruset album, the first one we did in Swedish. That was just a friend of ours who asked us, can you do a song to. Can you write a song to these old Swedish lyrics by this Swedish national hero called Gustaf Fröding? And we said, yeah, we can try, and then we wrote a song and it became really good, and then we did 10 others, and then we said, let's record an album of this and see what happens. It's probably gonna sell 500, but it sold 120,000 CDs in 2012 in Sweden, so it was quite amazing, and we didn't know why, so there's no recipe really.
So do you ever have any kind of like vision where to go musically, or do you always let it like happen very naturally what
very
comes out?
Very naturally, but I think, like I said, the songwriting is what's most important. Where that takes you, we never decide which sort of song we're gonna write or anything like that. It's just, it has to happen naturally.
Yeah, so there isn't like ever any kind of like direction that now we want to make like more of a rock and roll album, or now we want to have like different kinds of elements there. It's just something that always happens with you. Like
it happens very naturally, and since we are a live band, we always play live in the studio. So of course we try around a lot of ideas, but it's never hard to find. And the ones, the idea, some songs that we recorded just don't sound good, and then we don't release them, So, but nobody's gonna tell us what's good or not, because we just have to hope that people like what we do.
So, like you said, that the past few years have been way different for all of us in the world. So, do you feel that that's somehow reflected to the album?
I think it is in the lyrics some way. I never analyzed my own lyrics, but I did read them for the booklet and stuff like that, just to check if they were correct. And I think there's a lot of things that you can direct into the world. So but very spontaneous there as well. So
it's not something that it's very like intentional. It's just something unconscious thing that happens.
I think the only intentional thing was the Boblikov thing. And that's sort of a joke about all these big world leaders.
Okay. So before we wrap things up, I want to ask you a bit about the future. So overall, what does it hold for you guys?
I hope a stronger career in Finland after this day, because we really like Finland, and otherwise than that, we're gonna tour this album for 18 months and all around the world: Mexico, Japan, Europe this summer, and then a long European tour in November. So that's what we're looking forward to. And other than that, you know, I'm working on a solo album. So I think, you know, that's gonna come next year, maybe, if it's done. It doesn't. Let's see if I get it good, you know.
What type of music is it gonna be?
That's more Americana, but in my way, you know. So it would be something like that. So a lot of things happening.
You won't reveal too much yet.
Not yet, because I haven't done any music yet. So
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks a lot
for
the interview and all the best for the future. Anything you want to say as a closer to all the fans?
It's nice to be in Finland, and it's going to be nice to play Tavastia and listen to Boblikov's Magical World. It would change your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.